Here we go. Boom. We gonna basically do it kind of free. We gonna basically do it kind of freehand. Let it flow we gonna make it flow like it flow.
Word, respectfully. That's what's up.
Keep it natural. Know what I mean? I like that. I like my podcast. Whenever I have somebody on there, I like to try to keep it like a natural conversation.
Truly, that works.
Yeah. So if you got one, light it up.
Oh yeah, man, this herb nowadays, all this indica out here be knocking you out. I'm over here trying to stay awake from the split I was smoking like 20 minutes ago.
Word.
I don't like that vibe, man. So all this herb be just putting you to sleep.
All right. What's the difference between them and the sativas again? Which one? Indica's supposed to put you down, and the sativa's supposed to wake you up, right?
The sativa wakes you up, and the indica puts you down.
Yeah.
And for some reason, everything out here now is either an indica or it's a hybrid with mostly indica. For some reason, everybody's on this down herb, and I don't like it.
Yeah. You are now tuned into the Promise Key. I'm your host, Kushites Selassie. I'm here with Elder Kongo, Big Brother Kongo. We're here to discuss a topic I've been meaning to get on for a minute. I've been asking my viewers to vote on YouTube, vote on my Facebook page for my next video and stuff. And y'all been a little slow about it, but the channel's still new, so I'm not mad at nobody. Even though y'all always on my page and stuff. I mean, y'all could have voted. Anyway, I ain't mad at y'all. But still, the topic they chose is the difference between Caribbean Rastafarians and Rastafarians who happen to be in America. Things we do, things we may allow that they wouldn't. Things they may slide that we probably don't have no tolerance for. But to be honest, as this discussion go along, I'm not sure how the discussion is gonna go, but off the bat, I'm gonna feel like the Caribbean Rastafarians are gonna come off more stricter than how we do things here. Because with the fact that we, like, when it comes down to black consciousness in America, we're kind of a melting pot. No matter what school of thought we come from, we'll find somebody, even if they're from another school of thought, that we can vibe with, and we'll end up taking on some of their practices or some of their philosophies and add it on to us until we get something completely unique. So that's why I feel like we can kind of start the conversation here. Like how willing to adapt when it comes to dealing with other forms of black consciousness. Because when I was first coming into Rastafari, I'm not gonna say kind of. I came up with the mindset that I didn't want to hear anything else if it wasn't about Selassie. Right. Yeah. So, what would you say when it comes down to like those who first get into Rastafari? When it comes to the Caribbean, when it comes to Caribbeans and us here.
Well, I think us here, a lot of us come into Rastafari through a Caribbean influence, which kind of fuels their arrogance in a sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of American Rastas, they almost feel obligated to. It's like the deeper they start taking on to the Rasta ideology, the more they feel obligated to somehow develop an accent that they never had 6 months or a year prior to that.
For real though.
And
I can't let you know because I was one of them.
I feel a lot of that is, it's because of, the reggae music, some will say, well, damn, y'all wouldn't know Rasta if it wasn't for reggae music becoming popular to some degree.
Yeah.
What I would say would say we would still know the lifestyle. Maybe we wouldn't call it a liberty. That's their slang in a sense, but the lifestyle's still here.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the ideology that we pick up, it's really not so much Rasta, then it's more so Caribbean culture, Caribbean slang. Because these people had their own culture and their own slangs before they cited this ideology. So it starts there. But when you go deeper, you see that, we're clearly not the same people, and we don't have to imitate them to look to something that's rooted in Ethiopia.
Exactly. When the whole, and that's another thing. When it comes down to it, Kongo, from your own personal experience, has any West Indian ever tried to, when they found out you were a Rasta, have they ever tried to check your credentials in a way?
Yeah, the first question is, what island am I from?
Yeah.
And once I'm not from an island, all of a sudden I'm no longer authentic, no matter how much knowledge I have, no matter how many years I've been on this journey, no matter how serious my principles are or my discipline is, I'm somehow still seen as a copycat.
For real.
And I'm trying to be somebody else.
For real. And what get on my nerves about it is when I was younger and started being around Rastas, because at first, I'm from South Carolina. I didn't think there were any Rastafarians around here. If they were, they didn't take it seriously. They were just wearing tams and stuff. Because when I was growing up, if you had dreadlocks, everybody had a tam. Everybody wore a tam just because it was a good way to keep your hair up.
Right.
Well, I live in a small little city. But when it came to when I'd meet elders, it seemed like whenever I'd come around them, if it weren't for the fact that I was back and forth like a constant in their eyes, and they were listening to me, if it weren't for the fact that I was constant in their eyes and they were constantly listening to how I'm saying and paying attention to my growth, they probably would have never respected me like they do today.
No, they wouldn't have, because culturally, majority of Caribbean people don't respect Americans. They look down upon Black Americans in many ways. Like my story is a bit unique because I was actually adopted. So the woman who adopted me was from the Caribbean, and the man and her husband was from Alabama. So I had both worlds under one roof, but you're always closer to your mother. You're under your mother more, and your mother's family is usually around more. So I grew up, very Caribbean. All the culture, been traveling to the island since I was in the single digits. It's a part of my life. So I have the accent. My accent is authentic because it's all I ever knew. Like, this lady had me since I was 11 months old. So, I'm authentic with my accent because my mother is, from the Caribbean and her whole family. So that's how I grew up. So now, I say that to say that when I first came into Rasta, you can almost say I was kind of like the spook who sat by the door as far as the American inside of a Caribbean thing, because my accent is so authentic. Like I said, growing up in it, I wasn't one of these Americans forcing a fake accent.
Yeah.
I really had an accent, long before this. So, and I ain't gonna lie. Back then, there was a stigma of shame attached to being American. And that's my biggest issue this day, because it's like America, Jamaica, Antigua, Trinidad, these are all slave plantations. So why is it you can have a identity of pride, but I must be completely ashamed from where I'm from? And I think it's that stigma to be ashamed of America that makes a lot of American Rastas put on this other accent and make somehow they feel that now they're more authentically Black, when these people are just speaking like if you go to England and Australia, They sound like a Jamaican accent.
For real.
This ain't nothing black. This ain't nothing black. This is just how their slave masters spoke. Exactly. Now you do have some of the patois and the twang, but in general, that's how somebody in London sounds.
Facts. Crap. And the best example of that is look at a black Brit and listen to him talk. It's literally like one syllable away from the patois.
Exactly. So say what they want to say. That's just British. That's just a British tongue. You know what I mean? So when I was coming up, all the Rastas, they just assumed that I was, Caribbean, and they spoke to me with a certain respect of dignity, being a Caribbean brethren. But once they got to know me more in depth, and they found out that I was actually of American blood, it was a disappointment in their eyes. It was like all of a sudden now I'm not the same.
For real, damn.
All of a sudden now I'm not the same brethren who was just sitting there yesterday, educating you on something.
For real. Damn, that's fucked up, huh?
Because these guys will speak about Americans, for the most part, in a very derogatory way. The Yankee boy them and all these things. Like I said, there's a stigma that only America is Babylon for some reason. Like Babylon just starts and stops in America. No, every system of government is Babylon.
Man, white supremacy is Babylon, and that's everywhere. And that's everywhere they put their flag at.
All right, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So that stigma that America has, like America alone, because they be acting like, they're in the Caribbean and now they're going to take a journey up to Babylon to do a concert and come back. These Rastas, they sell Jamaica like it's the promised land.
And then they rushing over here to end up in the same bullshit we in. That's another thing I never understood. When it comes down to like Caribbean Rastafarians, they'll somehow, for some reason, there's been in the last 2 generations, like from the 90s. I'm gonna say from the 90s because that's why I was raised from. And I can only draw examples from that era because that's basically where I started growing up.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, like there's like just been like a huge flux of Jamaicans just coming into the country to the point that almost every time you look at anything on TV, there was either a Jamaican character or somebody with a Jamaican accent, or in some movies, somebody was making fun of a Jamaican or in some kind of way. There was always somebody with a Caribbean accent in almost every movie, from Bad Boys to Undercover Brother. There's always been some living single. I mean, there's always been a Caribbean at that point. And at one point, when back in the slave days, when they would send the slaves up from the Caribbean up to America, we were supposed to die. Like we weren't supposed to come back. And that's what Pharaoh said. We weren't supposed to come back when they sent us up here.
Right.
So it's kind of weird how now that matter of fact, Pharaoh said it better. A lot of us we come up here, they see we famous and all that shit. Then now everybody want to rush up here. I guess that's why Muta made that poem. Johnny looking better in a New York. End up sniffing coke in the Central Park. Now him out of work. He really get broke. He run out of luck. Poor Johnny. And they rush up here and then they end up in the same complex that we trying to get out of.
Yeah. I mean, I think both sides have a bit of a disillusion to what life is on the other side, but
I can agree with that.
I'm gonna say, I mean, call me partial or biased, but I'm gonna say that we have it harder, and it reflects in the music. I don't know. They're gonna say that they have it rough and poverty is real, and they think that we all have a silver spoon. But I think that's part of their disdain towards us, because they think that they had a harder life. They think we have it easy. They act like they in the field and we in the house. You know, almost. You know what I'm saying? Like they treat us like we the house niggas and they the field niggas. Like that's how a lot of them act.
Hell, if anybody's if Caribbean West Indians don't feel no type of way. This is an opinion, but y'all know how some of y'all are. It seems if anybody's gonna be, if anybody can be called the house nigga, is them. I mean, look where they at. They're running their shit to some degree. I mean, don't get me wrong. A representative of the Queen is still there, but they're basically running their shit to some degree. And
they have the opportunity to do that. Word.
For real. And
they have more power than we. Yeah.
For real. And actually, with the way Jamaica is, there is no reason for nobody to be hungry. The reason why they're hungry is because they want Popeyes, KFC, food out the grocery store and all that stuff.
That's my point. Like they sing about hard times, but then it's like, for example, track 3, they're singing about hard times, but in track 7, they're singing about going up to Granny house in the country picking mangoes. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
So it's like, you know, your hard times is not our hard times. You know what I'm saying? I tell them all the time, when they have hard times, they gotta go to the country and go in the bush and find food. When we have hard times, we gotta sell drugs. Like we gotta risk prison. Like it's not the same.
Yeah, I live out in the country, and I promise you, there ain't no fruit trees out here just growing naturally. We had a grapevine. Shit, it didn't last.
Right. It's like the conditions in itself. I don't care how bad it is out there. You can get a coconut. Like, you know, it's like I've been out there. I've been in the Caribbean broke. You know, I've been out there with no money. I can walk till I find a coconut. Like I'm gonna find a coconut if nothing else for the day. I don't care how, out here. I can walk till my feet fall off. I ain't gonna find no damn food, bro. So don't tell me it's the same. Like.
Shit, y'all gotta walk out in y'all backyard. We gotta hope grandma. We gotta walk down the street 2 blocks and hope grandma cooking.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like we will be begging. Y'all can find a way. Like y'all have a level of self-reliance that we don't have. Like y'all, it's like, man, it's not the same, man. And we ain't got shit that we can just pluck and pick up like that. Everything out here costs money.
And I would also say this: becoming vegan or vegetarian is easier for them than it would be for us in America. Never mind the fact that now there's really no excuse for me because I live out in the country. I can almost, if I show you out my window right now, all you got is fields and fields of shit. And I'm starting to get my shit together, but with the fact that we can't really trust the seeds down here, we've been having that problem down here for a while. We can't trust the seeds because motherfuckers putting out fake seeds, or there's something wrong with how it's something wrong with how the plants grow. They're not growing to the size they supposed to, or they die, or they rotten, or they maturing too fast to the point you don't trust them shits.
They having that same problem in the Caribbean too.
Oh, what?
They having them same problems. Like you said, the system of white supremacy is global. You know, they tampering with the seeds everywhere. They're trying to control the food everywhere. There's only a couple of ones that really got their own seeds that they're keeping every season.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people got to go back and buy. You know, it's rough for a lot of people when it comes to that one. But us in America, we have to respect and appreciate our own struggle. You know, like Rastafari in America, we have a struggle to be proud of. You know, and we gotta stop trying to, identify this, through them when it's very different. It's very different.
I mean, hell, they have their own language. Hell, African Americans, we have our, for lack of a better term, African Americans, we have our own language that we don't even explore anymore. What about Geechee? What about Tut? I'm not gonna lie, I've tried to learn Tut. Tut is hard as hell. It's like you have to spell out the letter of every word you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, it's hard and it's gonna take a lot, but I'm gonna try to learn it. If I come on here, y'all gonna see me come on here one day. I'm just gonna start talking a bunch, and hopefully, if I'm saying it right, somebody will comment, "Yo, you speaking Tut?"
Yeah, because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but Selassie came to America about 3 times before he ever stepped on the soil of Jamaica. So it's like, we don't have to validate ourselves through them. He came here. He spoke to us. He was in Chicago in 1935. He was in wherever else. Like, he been here, you know what I'm saying? Like, he talked to us first.
Shit.
We saw the king first.
Shit. Ethiopianism started here. He sent his first embassy here. In Harlem. Up there in Harlem.
So it's like, so it's like, once you start getting these histories, it's like, okay, you know what? We ain't gotta validate ourselves through the Caribbean. Like, this is not theirs. This is not theirs. But now, what is theirs is a lot of the slangs. You know, damn sure the accent that for some reason Rasta feel in order to be Rasta, you have to authenticate a Jamaican patois. You know. Like, what irks me is every single Rasta who do reggae puts on a fake accent. Like, even those damn Italians. Sing reggae and think about His Majesty. Why it gotta be reggae? Like you have a genre. You have an amazing genre. Like, to me, it sounds so silly when I hear these guys with this atrocious accent.
Shit. And besides, we don't even have to look. As much as I love Jamaican artists, we don't even have to have their artists. We have our own artists that identify with Rastafari to some degree. I mean, KRS-One, J. Rue the Damager. I mean, I know he's a god body, but I always got that vibe. Always got that vibe from him too.
I mean, because J. Rule, he was a Rasta at one point. He said it in one of his songs, you know, but then he chose to go, you know, more towards the God body. But at one point, he was promoting Rastafari. Yeah, exactly. We have, you know, like, that's another thing, too. A lot of these ones, you know, they go deep into Rasta, and then they want to badmouth and curse hip-hop. Like, hip-hop, like all reggae music is just so holy, and all the hip-hop is just filth.
Yeah.
Like, what?
When reggae right now is the most damaged and the most commercialized music when it comes to music for our people, it is the most damaging right now. Corporations got their hands in reggae so bad right now that the reggae industry is in a flux. I mean, I tried to do a video on what's her name? Layla Ike or Lisa Ike, Layla Ike or something like that.
They just found out that their whole Rasta revival is being ran by a bunch of freakazoids.
For real. And because I said something about the COVID thing, they destroyed the whole video.
That's crazy.
And I was too mad about it, so I ain't reposted. Then again, I posted back on Facebook. I kept reposting it on Facebook until they told me until they just wouldn't let me put it up there no more. I mean, literally, I couldn't even put the video. I couldn't even add the video.
Man, yeah, man. So, you know, it's like, yeah, we have to have like, they have their thing that they should be proud of, and no one's knocking them. I'm saying, do you? I'm just telling the ones over here that we need to understand that we can be proud of our own thing too.
Yeah.
You know, we ain't got to imitate. You know what I'm saying? Because that creates the arrogance in them that we don't like.
Yeah.
But you give them the arrogance by imitating them, not knowing the full history and thinking that it came from them. Like, you know, like, for example, where you are, you know, I experienced here too. Like, a lot of times, if one even see you with the red, gold, and green, that's the Jamaican flag to a lot of people. You rocking the Jamaican flag. That's why now I just strictly rock RBG. I don't even rock red, gold, and green no more.
I just wear both of them now, and I just get down. I will say this: it has gotten better. It has gotten better where more people know what a Rastafarian is, but the thing and they don't automatically believe you're from the Caribbean now. It seems like it's more noticeable over here that Rastafari is a thing here. And I'm starting, with me asking the question about what is our history here, I'm starting to see more groups and stuff, more things popping up. Are you subscribed to that channel, I Never Knew TV?
Yeah.
What's his name? George Floyd, homie Floyd. he was just on there. He broke down the whole like history. He basically beat me to it. He basically broke it down.
Which one? I'm not sure what video this was. What were you talking about?
Crap, I'm at the shit. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna send it to you I'm gonna send you the link in the messenger, and I'm gonna make sure people in the comments. I'm putting in the comments so people can go see it too. And I actually talked, and homie actually hit me up because when they first put the video up, I was like, damn. The first thing I commented was, damn, y'all beat me to it. Cause I was trying to put the video together. That's when I was asking. That's when I first tried to set something up with you and stuff. But the timing was right, and my internet's still out. I'm doing everything on my phone now, which isn't bad. It's kind of easier than trying to hear everything through a laptop and everything. But I still want my laptop back. But yeah, I gotta set something up with him, cause he's willing to actually be on here, which is kind of, I don't know, that made me feel a little good about my channel. I mean, wow.
Right, naturally.
I was surprised how many people actually look at my channel. I mean, wow, not to pat myself on the back, but
hey, give thanks. Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I must be doing something right. Now, if only I could stop stuttering so damn bad.
Yes,
crap. Maybe I'm gonna start writing my stuff down now. But I don't want to feel like I'm reading off a cue card or nothing. I still want it to feel like a conversation. That's why I want my videos to feel like. I want it to feel like conversations, or I'm just saying something off my dome. But listen, I don't want to get too far off topic. My girlfriend said I'm bad for that. Well, my wife. She's my wife now. I feel like she said I get off topic too easy. But yeah, what's that question I was gonna ask? Another difference between Caribbean Rastafarians and American Rastafarians. It seems like, with the fact like there's not a lot of fellowship there's more fellowship in the Caribbean than it is in America. Because as far as we know, at first we don't feel like there's a lot of us around here. It's not like we're just out seeking to ourselves, because like most American Rastas, we'll keep to ourselves. I'm not really sure about Caribbean Rastas, but I can say for like most of us, the only way you'll spot another Rasta is you have to like just catch an eye, and you just have to see that one piece of jewelry, or that one little stamp on his shirt or something like that. Cause it will just be like hiding in plain sight type of thing. And it's not like you can point them. It's not like you can point us out anymore. In the Caribbean, no matter who has their hair up, you can point them. You can tell the difference between them and a Rastafarian. But here you can't really tell, because especially with the whole freeform movement and the Wick movement, with that you really can't tell who's who. To the point that I started going back to wearing a turban. Because at first I started off Bobo Shanti, but I left because I never formally joined, but I followed that mindset. But I moved away from it because in my studies, to me, it didn't make sense to have, not that Emmanuel didn't make sense. It's the fact, if the Trinity is supposed to represent life, 3 men in the Trinity can't be. We can't have 3 men representing life.
I mean, Bobo Shanti is the most Jamaican sect of all the Rastas, because Bobo Shanti, you're gonna tell me that you found God, right? In this whole big world we live in, let's just say God is the Trinity. Let's just say the triune of God is three triune men of God. Let's just go with that first. Let's just go with that, right? My thing is this though. So in this whole entire world of human beings and mankind, it just so happens that the Bobo Shanti movement, which is formed in Jamaica, 2 of the 3 men in the God is Jamaican. That alone makes it a Jamaican movement, and they can have it.
Jack Daniels, brother, that's enough. I like to discuss that with you too. Look up Jack Daniels, man. He's a good dude. He's on that African Liberation Network. He's a good dude.
Brother.
He's a good dude.
That's my brother.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I actually want to ask. There's a lot of things I want to ask him, because those are the reason why I left Bobo Shanti. to me, it can't make sense that three men create a Trinity. This is supposed to be the Trinity this Trinity is supposed to equal life. The Trinity is supposed to equal life.
Mm-hmm.
And in that sense, three men cannot be.
I mean, that's the Bible, you know.
That's why it don't make sense to me, because the Bible no longer make when I found out the Bible was not meant to be when I finally understood and took it in, finally accepted that the Bible was not meant to be taken literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I've had this recently with a lot of brothers, and I'm like, to be Bobo Shanti is literally to be a Jamaican worship. Like it's to worship, it's Jamaican idolatry. That's the most Jamaican sect of all the nations of Rasta. To not be Jamaican doesn't make sense. That's just, you know, like I said, all the human beings on earth, you know, the two of the three men of God just happen to be Jamaicans. Right. In a movement in Jamaica, I'm not mad at them.
This is not an attack to Bobo Shanti. This is just a reasoning.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not mad at them. Because it's nothing wrong for people to see God through their spectacles. Exactly. Fine. Y'all want to see it through Jamaican men? That's your culture. Makes sense to me. I'm not Jamaican, so I can't be a Bobo Shanti. Right. You know?
Right. But I gotta admit though, from now that I think about it a little bit, to some degree the learning the patois is necessary. Because if we didn't understand the patois, we wouldn't be able to understand the elders. Because for a long time, when I first got into it, I could not understand what Maplana was saying.
Man, I don't think that was the patois. I think that's the fact that he had that stroke or something.
That too. But it was just hard. But when I learned the patois, I can understand him clearly now. I can understand him clearly now. I'm not talking about his older videos. It was clear to hear him in his older videos, but with like his later videos when he was talking, it was just hard to understand him because I didn't really understand the patois very much. So to some degree, learning the patois is necessary. It's just the fact that we don't have to speak it. We don't have to learn it to the point that we have to speak it all the time. Or matter of fact, we don't have to speak it, period. We just have the fact that we learn it to the point that we can understand it. That's all we need. All we can understand it, we don't have to really speak it. Shit, what's wrong with our slang?
Speaking it does not make you more authentic. It doesn't make you more authentic. And that's the thing. We feel that we have to put on this accent in order to be more authentic. And that's when it becomes a problem.
And no disrespect to the ones who do that, but it makes us feel like white boys. But to me, it makes me feel like a white boy.
Yeah.
Like one of those white Rastas. And no disrespect to the real Rasta, to the real white Rastafarians, because there are some who take their stuff literally. It's just me who can't understand. No, it's just me who just can't understand completely why they would accept something that wasn't for them. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I just can't. To me, I would have to sit down with one and ask him that question. Like with me, I feel like
most of them deal with the Bible. So when they look through the Bible, they accept this interpretation as the fact coming through a biblical standpoint, because they're not going to reach that within themselves. So they reach that by reading things and saying, well, if God is black, then because if you believe in the Bible, then it makes sense that Selassie, would be the person, if you believe in it and you want to interpret it. Because the Rastas do a damn good job of making that shit make sense.
You made me a believer. Hell, you couldn't tell me shit.
That's what I'm saying. It sounds damn good. For a good 15 years, I rock with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was mowing down pastors. They couldn't tell me shit, and I was making it. And the fucked up part was I got so well at it that my grandpa would use me to go and shut people up. I'm trying to tell you, you know what I'm saying? You can make it make sense.
point he made white boys stop doing stop leave Catholic school and put on locks. That's how powerful that shit was at the time.
Yeah,
but it's just my thing is
he did a good job breaking that thing down. So,
but it's if we gonna do, but I just feel like in this day and age, we should do what Leonard Howell set it out to be. Leonard Howell didn't set this out to be no God thing. And after looking through Leonard Howell things, once you look through the metaphors he used, because remember he was speaking to Bible people. Once you break through the metaphors, he was really basically telling us we don't need in that day and age, in the 1930s, fuck Queen Elizabeth, fuck whoever the fuck was at the time. I don't know if it was Queen Elizabeth or I don't know. I don't know I try not to remember their monarchs. I don't give a fuck about their monarchs. Fuck them. Fuck them lizard people. Fuck them. Anyway.
But yeah, that was the point. He was changing the monarchy. He was changing what you seen as royalty, what you seen as the epitome of humanity. Exactly. That was his goal. Yeah, it was not to become a new Christian doctrine.
Exactly. That's my word.
That's why he was called a pinnacle, to show that the black man is the pinnacle of dignity, you know what I'm saying, of royalty, of humanity. It was never a spookies, it was never a supernatural spookism thing. That came way later.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what caused their whole rift and confusion. When they made Selassie Jesus synonymous.
Mm-hmm. And just like Muta said, man, if the Jesus thing is the only thing that gets you to look at Selassie, then sooner or later, let's say in the next 1,000 years, they come up with another doctrine. So the Rastas who are following the Bible, when that new doctrine come out, they're gonna throw away Selassie.
Yeah, basically.
Sooner or later, they're gonna throw away Selassie. Or Selassie just gonna be one of those, just gonna be another one of those list of prophets.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you, what is Selassie supposed to be?
Everything. In the pretext of what God is supposed to be, he is supposed to be everything. Life, death, good, evil, the beginning, the end. You know, in the precepts of what we're taught in our Baptist school, in our Baptist churches, because I was born in the South, so a lot of us is Baptists. So we're taught that God is supposed to be this almighty everything in man's form, and then there's Selassie. And he is that epitome. And at one point, that's what I believe. But we don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
We don't need to do that no more, man. Selassie is great as he is. We don't need a God. All right? God is a concept in a man's mind. We need something real. We need something physical that we can look at and learn from his example. And Selassie is a prime example on how to lead a nation, on what to do and what not to do. We know now, I think I said it in one of my last videos.
That's just said. Selassie is the prime example on how to lead a nation.
Exactly.
When no one is taking that example from Selassie, everybody's just sitting here with googly eyes and a bunch of pictures, worshiping him like Catholics. Like Catholics.
Get on there.
You got a picture, and if somebody touch your picture in the wrong way, it's blasphemy. Like you know, it just become all about the religion. Like how did Rasta come into being, banging on the fact that it's not a religion, only to become one of the biggest cult religions right now?
Matter of fact, I think I can explain that with the fact that when Rastafari first came out, who were the Rastas that was the most seen on TV? The biblical Rastas, right?
Okay. Now, and I'm gonna say this, and that's because in the Caribbean, they're way more religious than we are.
Exactly. So they're more acceptable to show out to the world. Because remember, this is a Christian world broadcasting this. This is a Christian mindset world. So to put out anything that says that leads anywhere towards what they call atheism, this network would have put that out. This is before the FCC or the comic book laws or any of this stuff. I mean, this is during the time, this is like 1930s and stuff, where on TV is where whatever shows on TV, mom and dad won't even sleeping in the same bed and shit, in movies and shit.
Right.
For real, so when it comes to shit like that, of course, the only rosters they're gonna put on TV are the biblical rosters, because they're the only ones they can spin out. And think about it, the only time they put out Selassie, it wasn't that they were putting Selassie out to be this brand new God. They were putting him out to be the reincarnation of Christ. And with the fact that he had that lineage, that the Ethiopians hold so dear that they threw away their own ancient history. Remember, Selassie said himself, my dynasty goes beyond Solomon's. He's talking about Makeda. He's talking about the Kushite dynasty. And now, because of that, we can't go to Ethiopia and find out what was they worshiping before Christianity. I mean, before they took on Judaism, or before they accepted Christianity. It's hard to do that now. I don't even know if that's even possible, because that's all the Ethiopians put out is the Kebra and the Guest. That's the oldest form they got.
It's very much possible. But you see, Ethiopia is like Brazil. You know, when you think of Brazil, you know, or if you see a commercial about Brazil, you always see this high, light skin, wavy hair, Latino looking, this pale Latina looking chick. But Brazil has the largest, population of black people outside of Africa. But let them think. But when you think Brazil, you think, these white, Latino, Spain. You think Spanish. You think Spain. These light skin. But so Ethiopia does the same thing with the Amara and the Oromo. You have these Indian-looking people as the face of Ethiopia, when Ethiopia is a black country, with people who look like you, but most of them, you see them, they're lighter than me with straight hair, and that represents, Ethiopia now. So, like, look at Dr. Ben,
Freaky flag they got.
Look at Dr. Ben Yakinen. You're familiar with Dr. Ben, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Ben speaks about Haile Selassie in a way that Rastas want to ignore.
Word? I'm gonna check.
Oh, I'll send you the link.
Please, send me that link.
They don't like that, He has nothing nice to say about Haile Selassie.
Well, neither does Garvey, but we damn near worship Garvey in Bobo Shanti.
And then Bobo will say that the tree and one in tree and never disagree.
Man, please, he called Selassie a coward. That's another thing I didn't like. How we select Garvey in our Trinity, did he call our king a coward? When there's several ways to fight a war.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this. Politically, I understand what Garvey was saying in that time. You know what I'm saying? Remember, Garvey passed away before Haile Selassie got back on his throne.
Right. Wait, hold on, damn, I'm high, for real?
Yeah, he passed the flesh in 1940. Selassie got through like in 1941.
Right, okay, shit, damn, I'm slipping.
Yeah.
I never even made that connection.
Yeah, so he wrote that while Selassie was in England chilling.
Yeah.
That's when he wrote that. Yeah. So he had his reasons right in the moment, know, as a figurehead himself. But also, Garvey was kind of insulted because he had extended an invitation to Haile Selassie to join the UNIA, and Haile Selassie brushed that off. He ain't paying no mind. So, you know, Garvey was kind of about that too.
Well, yeah, but I can understand that because Selassie had his own plans for what was going on in Harlem.
Why would the emperor of a nation join your small political party?
Well, aren't you supposed to be trying to join his thing?
Exactly. That was egotistical of Garvey. You know, that was Garvey's own mind of grandeur.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That people don't want to address. You see, and that's not a problem too. Like, you see, like the Caribbean, they deem these people as gods and heroes, and now no one questions them to learn from their mistakes.
For real.
You know,
we gotta learn from, because Selassie made mistakes. Yeah, he shouldn't have been so willing to trust their system of due processing. Let's say, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. He believes in the system. But I tell you all the time. Did Haile Selassie not appoint an heir to his throne?
Actually, I'm not sure. Did he?
Yes, he did. He appointed an heir to his throne. I forget which one. I forget which one he appointed, but he had picked an heir for his throne. So if he had picked an heir for his throne, that means he did not plan on the throne ending with him.
True. That makes sense. I mean, what emperor does?
Oh, okay, so now one's the one to admit that his major downfall was he brought in so many Europeans. Remember, who rose up? The college students. Who was teaching them? White people. Who rose up? The military. Who was training them? White people.
Sound like Shaka Zulu all over again. Well, Shaka Zulu's brother, not Shaka Zulu himself. He went crazy before the Europeans even got there.
Yeah, Shaka Zulu, he's not a trip. He gets so much glory when I'm like, Shaka Zulu ain't never fought a white man in his life.
For real, his ass went crazy when his mom died. He went crazy like most American black men. You know what? That's the dope thing about Shaka Zulu. That's why so many American black people. That's why American black people love Shaka Zulu. Shaka Zulu so much, man, because he suffers from the same. He suffered from the same symptoms. He suffered from the same. Oh, let me slow down. Well, that would be fucking me up. I'd be so tongue tied and shit. I'd be so happy to get shit out. He suffers from the same emotional instability that we suffer from here, because Shaka grew up with a father who did not want anything to do with him, just like most of us grow up with a father who don't want anything to do with us. So all we have is our mother, to the point that Shaka would do anything for his mama. You disrespect his mama in any way, he go to your ass. Look at us over here, to the point that we had to stop in the 90s. We had to stop your mama jokes because that was an automatic fight. That was an automatic fight. We had to stop your mama jokes. You couldn't say shit like nobody mama when I was growing up. That was an automatic fight. Because that mama and grandma was all we had.
So would it be bold of me to say that the American blacks are more matriarchal when the Caribbean blacks are more patriarchal?
Yes.
And that plays a huge role in the difference, of the cultures.
Yes. Matter of fact, because I've asked one of my homies one this question. He started off as a Rasta, but like most of them, when they get older, they go more God body. But I've had him on. Matter of fact, he's been on the show more time. Mel Santana. He's the one I usually have on, like dual broadcasting with me.
Yes.
Damn, I lost my train of thought. Where were we?
We were talking about the difference between the matriarch and the patriarch between America and the Caribbean.
Yeah. So, fuck. Damn, I forgot my whole point.
Yeah, I find that there's a difference between the approach, with the Caribbean. You find that over here, your mama runs shit. But over there, you find the mama's more serving the son, in a sense where he more. I don't see the same reverence.
Job.
I don't see the same reverence.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The women here are definitely. I don't want to say stronger. Damn, maybe I gotta say harder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got it back. Shit. But I agree completely with what you're saying. But like I was saying, I got it back now. When I was asking my homeboy, like, do you think it's more acceptable for us to, when we call out, for us over here in America, Rastas in America, when we chant or whatever, isn't it more acceptable to call out Queen Menin as well as King Selassie? Since we do deal with man, woman, and child. Because over here, our Trinity over here is man, woman, and child. Most of us, when we have a Trinity, our Trinity is man, woman, and child. That's the Trinity that most Rastas in America that I've come across accept. Because they're more like they're more of Ethiopian World Federation, where they're with like Wind and Yadin and all that stuff, and they follow the Ethiopian Trinity more, where it follows more, where the woman plays a bigger role in the Trinity. Well, not in the Christian Trinity, but in African spirituality.
I think what it is that most Rastas in America at some point in time study something to do with Kemet. Yeah. And it just makes sense.
That too.
It just makes sense. So we incorporate it.
Yeah.
It's an unwritten incorporation that we all just commonly sense gathered that it just makes sense because Nayabingi, the whole Trinity is Selassie. He is the Trinity. He's everything.
For real.
There's no official woman in any Rasta Trinity.
Right. Which is kind of
Which
messed up because the Nayabingi kind of forget they get their name from a woman, from a queen. In fact.
Well, because you know what it is, these people, they make a lot of the elders that we respect. A lot of them was not educated, and they made a lot of shit up. Like, a lot of shit was made up by these elders.
Right.
It just sounded good to them. They reasoning, they pumped up, and they just saying shit that just sounds good. That was just a lot of theories became embedded in the culture. You know what I'm saying? So that played a role in some of these things happening. But as far as chanting Empress Menin along with it, I mean, I feel to each his own. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But it's funny, but the funny thing is that ones don't see any divinity in her. They put all the divinity in him.
Yeah. Crap, but that's not African culture though. Even in anything we had, even when it came down to ancient Christianity, they still put the woman in some regards. They put the woman in a high regards. Hell, even the Catholics put Mary into some high standard, even if it's the fact that
Mary is the highest deity in Catholicism.
Damn, word.
It evolves around Mary.
Yeah, that makes sense. It basically do. But Catholics are weird, period, though.
Oh yeah, they don't make no sense. But it's still Mary worship. It ain't got no principles, but it's Mary worship.
Yeah. So to me, I see like you said, I see no problem with doing that. That's actually what I start doing. Whenever I sit down and I don't really chant because I've never been in a group of Rastafarians where they have a certain chant or whatever and blase. And even when you look up like chants on the internet, it's not like there's a rhythm sheet that goes with it and stuff. So you just basically going at it blind. So there's no real reason to learn it because you can't follow along.
Yeah. My thing is okay. I feel like okay. The divinity is in all of us. Life, you know, we all share the same one life. You know, so okay, Emperor Haile Selassie and Empress Menen are the example to show Black people that royalty is not a European thing only, and now only do we have it, we had it longer once you study it.
Exactly.
Okay, so that Ethiopian throne is to open the door to studying the fact, wow, we have a richness about us. We have a culture. We have royalty. Oh, well, you know, because you know, even to now, a lot of ones they feel they almost they have no education outside of this, and they'll think that the Ethiopian throne is the only throne in Africa. You know. There are many thrones in Africa, so we have to understand that royalty, you know, is all throughout. Now, Emperor Haile Selassie and Empress Menen being that symbol, you know, to open that door to studying these things. Now we come back over here to America, right? Okay, so yeah, you have Empress Menen who did great things for who? For the people in Ethiopia, right? We give thanks to that. I don't know. I haven't studied that much maybe on her, so I don't know if she's done works globally, but I know about a lot of her works in Ethiopia. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that again, we look to that royal couple to know that we are a dignitary people, a people of royal lineage, all that good stuff. But now we got to come back over here. And you know, we have our women heroes and deities that we can call on right here that did work that actually impact us.
For real.
I think we spent a lot of time idolizing works that didn't necessarily impact us. Like Rastas in America, you might know more about, you know, Queen Nanny and what she did for Jamaica more than, you know, a couple sisters here, you know.
The most they know is just either Harriet Tubman. The most they know about is Harriet Tubman.
You know, yeah, like
Rosa Parks.
Yeah, you know, which is great to know.
If they do a little bit of reading. Who the chick who made the perm? Cicely Tyson? No, that's Cicely. What's her name?
That's C.J. Walker.
Yeah, Madam C.J. Walker. That's her.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, you know, yeah, a lot of our sisters came later. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't name that many either in the Harriet Tubman days or before, but we know they existed. But that's things that we don't study. You know, this is partly my point. We have our own things here. You know, and so we have to know more about things that directly impact us, and stop teaching them, you know, so much about other people's victories, which is good, but I think knowing our own victories will put more of a sense of pride in our own self and not feel this stigma that we should be ashamed of where we're born.